Yay. Now I
Yeah,
have
for
stage
sure.
fright. Let me have some coffee. Should have brought some alcohol.
Anybody who's watching or listening on the iPod, iPhone, what do they even have iPods anymore? I don't know.
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Anybody who's listening to the podcast, Scott's got an Atari T-shirt on. It's like the old Atari symbol with the word Atari under it. I haven't seen one of those in years, man.
Yeah. Got it at Target.
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 Hey, all right. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Old Ass Movie Reviews. Today we are bringing you a special for us. This is today's review, The Last Dragon. This particular movie is one that Dave and I talked about quite a bit when we worked together on a night shift. And we talked about it so much, I think it was our coworker said, you guys should record this. And here we are finally, 14 episodes in. I don't know. We're finally getting to the one movie that started this all. And it was fun. I watched it last night. First time I've seen it since 1985 in the movie theaters. So I have a slightly different opinion now than I did when I saw it in 85 as 15 years old. So, when was the first time you saw it?
1985.
Okay.
Pandora Theater with a bunch
wow.
of buddies. That was the hangout spot in Michigan. It was one of our stomping grounds. We used to go see old horror movies there. You'd be proud. Zombie, I think, was one of the movies.
Yeah. Fulci.
I just remember a whole lot of horror movies that I was never interested in, but I went because all my friends were going. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
If I don't go with you guys, I'm going to be at home.
But you saw some good ones.
Yeah, saw some pretty good ones. I mean, the special effects in some of those movies were really good.
Right.
But I remember seeing this there, and it's very strange because it was at Pandora for a few weeks, and I think we kept going to see it. Like, it was a group of guys going to see it over and over again.
So when you first saw it, this was one that was like, holy shit, this is really cool.
Yeah, this was this for me. I like the character. I mean, Vanity. She was gorgeous. She was the girl next door. I mean, how could you not fall in love?
Vanity lived next door to you.
When you're 18 or 19.
Why did you move?
Huh?
I said Vanity lived next door to you, and you moved.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better looking cast. I mean, for the two main people, right?
Exactly.
Tamak, is that how you pronounce his name?
Tamak, I believe, yes.
And Vanity, I mean, jeez.
Yeah, I got to meet Tamak a few years ago at a convention, and he still looks great.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had the glow.
Yeah, but he did.
He had the glow. Super cool guy. I understand he does a lot of charity work.
Oh, that's cool.
So he seems really genuine, down to earth character. But Leroy Green, now that was an interesting cat.
Yeah. That was showing up, right?
No, Leroy Timac.
Oh, okay, Leroy. I'm sorry.
They joked and would call him Bruce Leroy.
Of the actual people that were in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy was a good character.
Yeah.
He's a good character. Leroy Green. Take your pizzas to Papa Green's Pizzas.
Papa Green's Pizzas. All right, I'm just going to start by saying this is definitely an 80s movie from start to finish. You don't get much more 80s than this with the synth soundtrack, which I absolutely love. The score on top of the songs was really well done. At times it had a John Carpenter vibe to it. Really, really cool. But I'm watching it and I'm looking, it's like, man, people didn't dress like that. I'm like, yeah, they did. Yeah, I dressed like that.
They did.
Yeah, we really did. And it was cringeworthy to look at. It's like, what is this crap? And it's like, we grew up in it.
Yeah. The only one whose style didn't change was Bruce Leroy's. Like, you could still wear that today and it'd be like, people would be like, Okay.
Yeah. At first I thought it's like he's going to walk around wearing I don't know what clothes he was having, but they look like traditional, some sort of Asian martial arts,
Yeah.
And a straw hat.
Yeah.
And, of course, nobody gave him a second look, and well, they probably wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Back in
mean,
the 80s, no.
no, even today, he could probably walk through New York and they'd be,
Right.
whatever.
They got a
Um,
painted guy, a silver painted guy walking through New York, and nobody gives you a second look.
exactly. Exactly. This movie is basically a journey about the main character, Leroy,
Mm.
trying to find his way and find the power of the glow. He's got in his mind, he's been told that he's got to one more step before he's the ultimate kung fu master. Now,
Right.
my issues are the movie starts off right away. He is a badass. He's catching arrows.
Yeah.
He is quite already a master of everything, but it's like we never really get to see how that happened. It's just
Right.
boom. Here's this kid who's wow. He's just he's a fan of Bruce Lee, but how did he get there? That was one of the issues I had with it. But man, I got to talk about the opening scene in the movie theater when the movie kicks off in the theater. This one, thank God I've never been to a theater like this where people just stop and start breakdancing in the middle of the aisles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's wrestlers. There's wrestlers in the frickin' balcony.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Nothing made any sense. And what really doesn't make sense is Shonuff, Shogun, just breaking down the doors of the theater and coming in. Why was he there?
Because he was shown up.
Well, right, but why that theater? Just screw it. I'm going to go mess with some people. I mean, that was...
What's funny is you talk about that theater. That's how I vaguely remember the Pandora Theater being.
With wrestlers in the balcony and...
I don't know if we had a balcony.
Shogun.
There was a lot of weird shit going on while you were watching the movie. If you went there to specifically watch a movie at a certain time on the weekend, you were not going to be able to watch that movie. You just weren't. It was filled with asshole teenagers from the 80s.
Right.
That were all in their own cliques, causing trouble, having fun, and I don't even remember a whole lot of bad stuff happening there. Like we didn't have a big black Shogun walk in and cause trouble, but
you would have remembered.
There were plenty of fights. There were plenty of things going on there. So the popcorn flying and the lights kind of still being half on while the movie was going is I have witnesses. I can call them forward.
I believe that because even when I was younger at the movie theaters, I don't remember much of the movies. It was just more like a place to go hang out. I remember being very young and being thrown out of the theater because I wouldn't stop running in circles all the way up and down and around, and we would scream. There was 3 of us.
18,
so
19.
What's that?
It says, when you say you were very young, 18, 19.
Yeah, well, that would be believable. That's me now. That's why I don't go to the theaters now because that's what I will do because people won't shut up and I just feel like screaming. So I much prefer to sit at home and run around the living room screaming while I'm watching a movie.
And you only have your wife yelling at you, telling you to shut up and sit down.
Right.
Shut up and sit down, Scott.
Oh, yeah. Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem.
Shogun of Harlem. You don't get better than that. The Shogun of Harlem.
What was his deal?
He was the Shogun of Harlem.
Okay, I know. And see, that's...
I don't understand the question, Scott.
The question is, why? I mean, this movie left me with more whys and what the hell were they thinking? And don't get me wrong, I actually love this movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. But, man, it's got some issues.
You got to leave a lot of stuff packed. Yeah, whereas usually I like to unpack a movie and look into it and go, what's this? I'm willing to leave underwear on the bottom of the of the suitcase and just ignore some of the stuff. I think they make a point where Shonuff at one point is saying, "Tell Bruce Leroy I'm back." So I'm assuming he was just out of prison and he was getting his gang back together.
It may be.
But that's
It may
that's
be.
just one thing for me. Oops, excuse me. That's just one thing for me. Like I kind of thought maybe that's what was going on there.
Yeah, because I was wondering if was he just out looking to try and find a fight to prove that he was the baddest?
Yeah, I think he was just trying to like create his dominate, and he knew of Bruce Leroy,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew this was the one guy who could probably kick his ass but would never fight him. So he had to like really humiliate. And the more he humiliated him, the more he felt like I'm superior to you.
Right.
But no matter what, he knew this guy was the only guy that could kick his ass.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. So whenever
Okay.
he goes in and trashes the parents' restaurant, he knows, that he's got to fight this guy. He's the only guy that in the entire city, no matter what, the entire city's going to look at him and go, yeah, but this guy could kick your ass. If he really wanted to, he kissed your feet, but he's going to kick your ass one of these days.
Right.
Right. And that he just couldn't live with. I think that was messing with his head more than anything else.
Now, I know I did, but did you get a blaxploitation vibe from this movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is the 80s.
Definitely blaxploitation.
This is an 80s black.
Yeah, this was probably one of the last big blaxploitation next to Action Jackson.
Yeah.
I would say probably one of the last big blaxploitation movies. And this one was really well done. I mean, I'm not a huge Barry Gordy fan as far as being a human being. I love the old Motown. I love what he did. Don't like how he treated his band members when he left. I've watched I think it's called The Shadow of Motown. I think it was a documentary, and they talk about all the band guys that were like the actual originators of the Motown sound. And I just, man, the more I heard and read and heard about this guy, I'm just like, how did he even stay in business? But that's a whole nother subject. He did a good movie. However he managed to produce this, however he managed to get it made, he did a good blaxploitation movie. I was actually shocked at how well written it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and Vanity did a pretty good acting job. Tamac, this was his first acting gig. I guess he was into karate before that. And one of his friends said, hey, they're looking for somebody, and he just kind of went down, here I am. And they got hired on the spot.
And that's one of the...
He got hired on the spot.
That's one of the things that was very relevant or evident in this movie is the fight choreography.
Yeah.
It was good. After watching such wonderful stinkers as The Devil's Express, with fighting that, oh my God, it was so bad. Yeah. This actually was good. Good, choreographed. Obviously, people who knew how to fight were involved and setting that up. So it felt good. It sounded good. Yeah. It looked good. Which brings me to one of my favorite characters in this was Johnny, one of his students who couldn't fight.
Yeah, that kid was in a lot of movies back in the 80s.
He was.
Yeah, him and his little brother.
Yeah, he even made a joke in there, and I don't know if you caught it. He made it look like his speech was out of sync with his.
Yeah, I got that.
When he was going to act tough, so he, wah, and then
his lips are moving, no words are coming. And then it's almost like he's dubbing himself.
Yeah, he dubbed himself and then just started wailing. Come to find out, Johnny could fight.
Yeah.
He really could.
Like to. Yeah, like to.
But he was funny. That was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I like how Johnny starts hitting on the Arcadian's girlfriend when she comes in.
Yeah.
To warn Bruce Leroy. He's like, hey. He's like leaning up against the bag. Would you like a short little Asian guy instead?
Yeah. Johnny comes up with one of my favorite quotes in the movie when he runs into Shonuff. calls him a string bean Rick James looking fool. So,
he insults like the entire gang.
Yeah.
When they're in the karate dojo. He's just like insulting every one of them one by one.
So basically, I mean, what we have here is a movie that sets up, you have a young karate master looking for his the next level. And he's told that when he gets there, his whole body will glow. He'll have the glow, so he'll know it.
Yeah.
You have an evil producer, or what? This is great. He's an arcade guy, and his name is Arcadian. Eddie Arcadian. What a wonderfully cast. So well cast for him.
Yeah.
That was so well played. He was just such a horrible
villain. He was a good card, and he played that to the T, man.
He did.
That guy played it to the T.
All the way down to the monster in a aquarium tank that you could feed people to that we never got to see, and nobody ever got to it, except he got his hair
scared the hell out of him when Bruce Leroy takes him and puts him in his face in the thing.
Right.
And he sees all the bubbles coming up, so he pulls the guy out, and he's like looking inside the tank like, what the hell is that?
Right. So we have this wonderful cartoon villain who's obviously just trying to get his girlfriend at the start. It seems like he's just trying to get her a wannabe Cyndi Lauper is what the vibe I got from her.
It was a Cyndi Lauper. It was them taking a swipe at Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
All the white girls that were takeoffs of Cyndi Lauper, all the Madonnas, all the,
it looked
Cyndi
like
Lauper, on the other hand, had talent. Madonna, I'll argue with anybody on that one. But
that's another podcast.
Yeah, it's a whole other podcast, whole other era.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was his swipe at any of the white girl wannabe Cyndi Lauper or Madonna type.
Right.
Right. But that actress played the part pretty good. She
really did great.
Funny. I've seen her in other stuff too. I don't know if she's still acting, but I think maybe she is.
Well, that's just it. This whole movie was well cast. The acting was great in it, and that's what really helped sell it. But again, we have the cartoon villain trying to get his girlfriend play at this place that Vanity runs. She won't give, so he devises a way to kidnap her, and Leroy gets caught up in it. He rescues her at one point, and then they kind of start to have some chemistry and everything.
In love with him. Boy, she's in love with him like the minute the first time he saves her. She's like, oh, my hero.
So I guess this movie's a lot of things. It's an action movie. It's a comedy. It's a love story. What about?
It's karate.
Karate. We got action. It's an action movie.
Yeah, like you said, it was a nice change from the Devil and the Devil's Express. Oh, painful. Just it hurts your head. I see the veins sticking out.
It is. That is.
I mentioned Devil's Express.
I don't know how I got through it. That was hard. This was a joy to watch. Yeah. One of the things my wife asked me, Janine watched it with me.
Kat watched it with me too.
She's like, do you remember enjoying this? Is what she asked. I said, what do you mean? I enjoy it now.
Yeah. That's funny because Kat was watching it. She goes, I actually like that. I wasn't expecting to like it. So, she enjoyed it for what it was. It's a good action comedy. Karate movie. I was actually shocked, and I started thinking about this today. It's of the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
You're a writer.
I was thinking of that today as well.
There's two hero's journeys going on here in the same guy. Bruce Leroy is at once a seeker because he wants the glow. He wants to find the master. He wants to step up to become the master and have the glow. That's him seeking that. But he's also a reluctant hero in that he should help Vanity. He should help his little brother, and he's avoiding at all costs fighting the Shogun of Harlem.
Yeah.
Shogun. So he's got like a dual thing going on here, a two-pronged hero's journey that wind up meeting together at that at the fortune cookie factory.
Oh, some dumb guy.
Yes, some dumb guy. It's brilliant. Those three idiots, man.
Let's talk about the Chinese Soul Brothers. Oh my God! First time we see them. Oh my! First time we see them, they're doing a dance number, a music number outside there.
Yeah, they're breakdancing.
And then they're talking jive.
Yeah, that's what's so funny and they're giving him shit because he can't talk jive whenever he talks.
I know.
Whenever he starts talking to him, that he doesn't understand what they're saying.
Oh my God! It made me. I laughed and cringed at the same time. It's like nobody would shoot that today.
Oh no! This movie, I think this movie would be really hard pressed to be shot today. And then I sit there and think, you know what? If you got the right group of guys to do it that just didn't give a crap about political correctness, they would go in, shoot it, and probably make $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all in how you address it and how you attack it. Those three guys were funny as anything. They were just funny.
Oh, they were, and
for that one actor, the one guy starts making fun of Bruce Leroy. He takes his hat and puts it on, and he starts speaking in a Chinese accent, which this guy never had a Chinese accent before. And he's speaking like really bad Chinese accent, which made it even funnier and more stupid.
Yes.
I can't believe this actor chose that to do that.
It was a paycheck.
But yeah, it was good though. It worked. It worked really well.
And that's something we've talked about before. And this is a perfect example of what makes an 80s movie an 80s movie.
Right.
There's no regard for stereotypes or no, oh my God, I got to be careful. They just did it. And if you look at it through a younger person of today's eyes, oh my God, it's horrible. But when we saw it, that's how.
Sitting here watching this with an 18 or 19-year-old woke right now.
Right.
They'd be freaking out.
Yes.
They'd be, oh my God, it's racist, it's this, it's that. Yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And these guys all knew what they were getting into. It's not like any one of them walked on set and went, oh my God. No. They all had the script in front of them before they got to go to shoot. They knew what they were getting into.
Well, it's like what we talked about with the blaxploitation films.
Right.
So, in a sense, the 80s continued an exploitation of stereotypes, basically.
Right.
So it's.
Can you imagine doing 16 Candles right now?
I think we should.
Imagine trying to shoot 16 Candles right now.
Oh, how to shoot. I think we need to review 16 Candles. But
oh, yes. Oh, one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite teenage flicks from the 80s. But, I mean, really, are you going to get, what was the guy's name that was in there?
Getty Watanabe. Long Duck Dong?
Yeah, your Long Duck Dong. Could you imagine trying to shoot him now? You're trying to get a guy to do that right now?
No.
You'd find an actor that would be willing to do it. I'm sure.
Automobile?
That would be like, oh, that guy was fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
But some of the movies you just look at now, you're like, you couldn't get some of these. No big budget house would make them.
No.
Small budget guys like you, like me, I'm trying to think. Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith really does good stuff like that. He just makes fun of everybody and just lets the chips fall where they may. It's tough to look at this at a 21st century glance. You can't. You got to look at it for what it was at the time. Mm-hmm. And when I was a kid growing up, I loved these two guys. And in the city that I grew up in, and the group of people that were in this theater at the time that had never either seen a black guy or never really paid attention, it was all white guys. It was all white stoners. It was all white, blue-collar guys, all in there loving this movie, loving Vanity, loving Tamac, loving Show Enough. I mean, I remember going to school the first weekend after watching this, and guys are just walking around, how's it going? And you hear it down the hallway, Show Enough. And you knew the guys were there that weekend. You knew they were there watching the movie because it was the only freaking place showing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, wow, man, these guys really, they hit on every cylinder, like on every level, white, black, Chinese, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a couple Asian guys in the school, and I remember them shouting down and talking like that. And it's just like, oh my God, this is, and it's all in retrospect that I see this. And I didn't see it at the time. At the time, it
No.
was just you're a teenager and you start shouting down the hallway and stuff. But yeah, it's good. It was well done, well done. And like I said, I never thought of the two-pronged hero's journey that he was on.
Sure enough.
One was
Sure enough.
and one was jumping at it, like looking for his power.
Right.
So that
No,
was
that
good.
was I was thinking of that today as well. It's like, look at that. There it is. I mean, so it was definitely thought out. The story was
Yeah,
definitely thought out. There's some things that we could have had some filler and stuff, but you can only have a movie for so long. I would have liked to have seen. I'd really like to know Shonuff's backstory. I'd like to
yeah.
know.
How did he get the glove?
Yeah, because he
Kat
had it.
mentioned that. Kat said that. She's like, he's a bad guy. How does he have the glow? How did he
His
have the
glow was
glow? And I was
red.
like, yeah, but his glow was different color, and he's a master of bad. I mean, he was
Mhm.
the bad guy. They can still be a master.
Just like a Sith lightsaber.
Yes,
So.
I like where you went there. Thank you.
How about when
Our weekly Star Wars reference. Good job.
Eddie Arcadian is interviewing assassins to take out Bruce Leroy?
Why should you get double?
Oh my God! This is what sold me on the movie. It doesn't take itself seriously. It
No.
is about a good time. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Even him interviewing the assassins.
Yes.
Even the interview of the assassins, you're like, who would do that? That was straight out of Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
That was straight out of Blazing Saddles. Did you bring enough gum for everyone?
I mean, that one guy had like a chain on him. He was like an animal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like, why should you get paid double? Rah, 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 and he smashes the table with his head. He's like, okay, pay this guy whatever he wants. And then he looks at his henchman and says, take the table out of his first pay.
That was it. There was a lot of jokes in there, and that is actually one of them. And here we go back to the Chinese Soul Brothers.
Oh yeah.
They
Anytime.
they were trying to figure out how to play craps. So the first black guy shows up.
It's a great visual.
Yeah. The first black guy shows up, they just automatically assume he knows what's going on because he's played some craps.
Yeah.
So
he tells me, I know how to play craps.
He teaches them, and what they're doing is actually playing hopscotch.
Oh my God, that's so funny because they do the pullback shot where you see them shooting the dice, and you're like, how is he teaching? There's no way he knows how to shoot craps. Then they pull back the camera, and you see the hopscotch laid out, chalked out, and they're doing the skip and the jump. And it's like these guys have no idea. They've got a manual of how to shoot craps.
Well, that's why at times this movie was a spoof.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At times it felt like they were wanting to spoof things, like we had mentioned, like Cyndi Lauper or anything. So it's very interesting that it felt all over the place.
Right. But
And
it was
that,
all over the place that actually worked. Because they had it planned out. I think that director, I looked at his IMDb thing, and that guy, he's no wilting flower. He did, I think he did Car Wash,
okay.
Cooley High, and something else, I think, before he did this. And then you see all the movies in television series that he did after that, up until like very recently, 2018, 2019. And it's like, holy crap, this guy really knew. This guy was a good director. He has a solid base of directing. So I think the success was based on him.
Yeah.
I think he got a good script.
Mm-hmm.
And having a good script is always the basis for any good movie. But if you can't get your people to do what you need them to do, the movie falls apart, the script falls apart.
Yeah.
He was able to keep guys like Tamek's first movie, all these other actors that are in it, not going to win any super duper awards, I'm guessing, but he got them all to work together, and they did a good job, and they did a really good job.
Speaking of,
you know,
how many? There was a few times that I had to do a double take at the screen when I was looking at a very young William H. Macy.
I know, right?
There was also, and
what, 20?
Yeah.
Maybe 20?
Yeah, I was like, holy cow. I was like, why does he look like William H. Macy?
Yeah.
Because it is. There was also another extra in the background that I swear I have seen all over the place.
The cop.
No, it was some guy just on the street, and it's like, wait a minute. And maybe it was a cop. But there was a few that are in there, and, well, this movie was a while back,
Yeah,
but it was a surprise to see some of the people that showed up in there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. There was the one. I think the guy was a security guard or one of the cops that Bruce Leroy beats up at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the kids at the dojo that's helping up the kid who gets his butt beat. Forgot his name. I want to say Michael, the kid who pretended to know karate but didn't.
Johnny.
Turns out. Yeah, the guy that's in between, his face just comes on screen for a second, and I'm sure he's a big character actor because I was looking at him going, oh my God, I know that face. I know I've seen that guy before, in other movies. So yeah, there's like a lot of
people maybe started on this movie, and
you never
know,
went
right? On. I did learn something from this. If I'm ever tied up, all I have to do is start pop locking, and I can get out of any knot.
There you go. Now you know how Houdini did it.
He was breaking before anybody else. I watched this. I watch movies like this that show break dancing and the clothes and everything. I'm like, how was this ever a thing?
Don't know. I was there when it was happening. I mean, I knew guys that were doing it, and I'm like, you're white. Why are you doing this? why are you breakdancing?
Because they could.
Yeah, yes,
Because I couldn't.
I couldn't do it.
I can now.
I was going to do a wave thingy. Yeah, no, that's just your back cracking.
I can break my hip. I could break my back. Yeah, that's my break dancing at this point.
Yeah, you just look like you're popping lock, and it's only because you've locked. And you got to push that shoulder right down.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Pain.
This is a fun movie. I love it at the end when he gets the glow, when he's fighting Shonuff, and Shonuff has the red glow against the gold glow. And it's just one of those hero moments. It's like, it's on. It's on, And then he catches the bullet in his teeth.
Oh, you knew that was coming.
Well, they did allude to it with the
Even
rumors.
My old lady called that. She goes, watch this. You're going to catch that bullet in his mouth.
And he did. He did.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I enjoy this movie. I will definitely watch again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bought it.
I did too.
I went on Amazon and I bought the damn thing. I was like, okay, I'm here. I like this movie enough already. I know that I'm going to enjoy it again and again. It was well written. The hero's journey worked out almost perfectly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the writer, this is the kind of thing that I'd like to eventually meet the writer of this and go, were you following a hero's journey? Did you know about? I mean, is this something that they did consciously, or was it just like, I'm just writing a story and hoping for the best?
Well, when it comes to that, it could be either or, because so many movies and so many stories have followed that. Mm-hmm. They are, whatever you've read, whatever you've seen is going to influence your view. So you may actually subconsciously write the hero's journey without ever
this is true.
reading about it, because you know it works.
Yeah, you may on a subconscious level be doing it without even thinking about it. But I just thought it was interesting. My question, I guess, would really be, did you mean to do it on two levels? where he
That
was chasing one and trying to avoid the other and running from the other. I guess that would be my question. And the guy or girl, whoever wrote it, would probably have to look at me and go, "Oh yeah, I knew exactly what I was doing. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know if you're
that
ever
was all
gonna.
planned."
Yeah, it was all planned that way.
And then walks out the door going, "Shit, I was a genius.
Yeah.
I was such a genius. I didn't even know what I was doing, and I was a genius."
Some things happen by happy accident, and that could have been one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the the one thing that is, I guess if I want to say anything bad about the movie, and not necessarily bad, but just no, seriously, I could have done without the music videos. I could have done without DeBarge breaking into a music video and a Coke commercial.
I could do without DeBarge at any time.
Yeah, but they were all right. We had Now, it was funny to see Eddie Arcadian's girlfriend with her horrible Dirty Boys video. Here's
talking about wanting a test drive.
Oh, and that one. That was even worse. Dressed like a taxi cab or whatever, like a car. She had turn signals hanging from her freaking ears.
Oh God!
And headlights.
The headlights on the breasts was just brilliant. I mean, whoever put that costume together was just like probably laughing the whole time. And that poor actress is putting this on, going, "Okay, let's just get this shot. I want out of here.
Give me my check."
Yeah, exactly. I'm not making a lot of money.
I will say this for The Last Dragon: if you want to see an 80s movie, what an 80s movie looks like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is 80s all the way through. And this is why we'd talked before, why it seems like movies that nowadays that are made, or TV shows that think just by changing the clothes or changing the music or changing the cars makes it 80s. It doesn't.
Right.
A vibe.
There's a definite vibe from the 80s.
Exactly. It's a vibe. It's also casting aside all political correctness.
Yeah. Because there wasn't any. There
wasn't any. And you feel that when you watch the movie. You feel that there's a general, it's funny, who cares?
Right.
Nobody's taking themselves seriously. And yeah, so that's I think the one element that tends to miss is that right there. So you have a vibe. You watch it, you instantly know I'm watching an 80s movie.
It's not a remake. It's not a planned. It's not something else. It's an actual of the time.
And when I watch Stranger Things on Netflix, great series, but it's just set in the 80s, and you could tell they worked really hard to make it an 80s series, but they're missing the one thing. It just doesn't feel it. It doesn't.
They're missing the political incorrectness.
That may be it. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that changes that, is like, why all of a sudden does this feel 80s and this doesn't?
I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah.
Everybody I know that's seen it loves it. But you and someone else has told me that. I think one of my other buddies has told me that it's missing something. It's like you see it, you're looking at it. It's almost like looking at it through a prism. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's good, but it could have been better. But they can't put their finger on what would have been the thing.
Yeah, you can't just throw set decorations and clothes and music, and sometimes even the speech isn't right. Right. The dialect is off. Not everybody talked Valley. Not everyone's like, oh my God. That doesn't make it 80s. There were people talking that, but
like if you watch Goonies is another prime example of a good 80s movie. You know, the young kid is walking around calling it Chunk. Is that his name?
Yeah, Chunk.
Chunk is walking around calling everybody a turd and swearing, and just you wouldn't see that now. Like you just wouldn't see some of the stuff that you see in Goonies in a movie now.
No, you wouldn't.
And Goonies was, to me, just a PG movie. I think it was actually PG.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't think you could... I'd be hard-pressed to say you could make a Goonies movie now.
Maybe.
Just because of all the stuff that the kids were doing. Like, they were smoking, they were out... The one kid's out driving with his girlfriend, you know, or it's just... there's just silly stuff in it that everybody thinks, oh my God, you can't do that now. It's like, well, why not? Yeah, you can. You can let your kid go out and play. It's
You know that that's definitely part of it because it's just I don't know. I can watch an 80s movie and I can tell it was truly an 80s movie because there's a vibe. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the set decorations or the clothes or the music.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, it's even the way the stories are structured, even the way the movies are put together. It is
the way it's shot, the way it's edited.
The way it's shot, the way it's edited, the way it's lit. It's an 80s movie. 80s was flash. It was bright colors. But it was also, there were so many stories in the 80s that were similar to this one, not with a Bruce Leroy, but more with trying to get the girl, trying to save the clubhouse or whatever. It was always something where people would get together and do it. It was I don't know. I have a nostalgia for 80s movies.
No, I get it because action movies were different than they are now. James Bond movies were way different than they are now. The 80s was it was a completely different era, number one.
Right.
But like you said, with the way they set up movies, the way they told the story, the way that they directed them, the way they edited them, everything was slightly different. And I think you'd have to find somebody from that era.
Right.
To actually go into a movie, if you're going to do an 80s movie now or an 80s style movie, I think you'd have to get a writer and a director from that time period and bring them and go, hey, okay, we want you to do the same kind of thing you did in X movie or Y movie that you did over here. We want you to edit the same way, you know? And I think that would bring in a lot more of that feel, that tone.
Yeah.
And this movie had a lot of good feeling. This movie had a lot of good. There was nothing really bad in it. I mean, I can't sit there. I can't think of anything that I just looked at and went, "Oh, that ruined it for me."
Well, nothing ruined it.
You know, the videos but you talk about the video at the thing where DeBarge, and you're like, okay, you just went into the video, but she works at a place called Seventh Heaven, which has videos all over the wall.
Videos were a big thing.
Kind of have to go into that a little bit, but that was to sell DeBarge's album at the time too. So,
and that's one of the things
with effeminate singers back then. It's like there's a whole era at one point where like 30 or 40 guys just came out and were like really effeminate, and then all of a sudden, the heavy metal bands came out and started going, "Yeah, man, we're gonna drink whiskey and blow stuff up," and that kind of went away again.
Yeah, but even then,
Motley Crue showed up.
and Poison, and then we had the hair metal, and then all of a sudden we had the effeminate metal, and it's like,
what was that?
So it goes in cycles, but I think maybe something to go with the reason the 80s have that vibe too is there's just a general I don't care. We're just going to make this movie. We're going to throw this at it. We're going to do it. We're going to have fun, and it shows.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And
I don't know.
But they did. It looked like everybody was having fun at the time.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a great mystery of what makes an 80s movie an 80s movie. I don't know if we'll ever solve it, but it sure as hell isn't just the music.
I think with us doing all these 80s movies, because we do like our 80s movies, man, I think with us doing them, we'll come on to something. We'll come up with some kind of BS that sounds good, at least.
Right? So, let's wrap up our review on The Last Dragon. What's your final notes on it?
Well, hey, I bought it. So for me, it is a go. It is a keeper. If you want to have fun watching a movie, that's the movie to watch. It's silly. It's got good karate moves in it because Temek was actually into karate. I think he still is. If I remember seeing an interview recently, he's still into that sort of thing to keep his body. The guy still looks the same.
Yeah, he looks
a
great.
Little bit older, but he still looks like basically the same. Like if you see him on the street, you'll be like, "Hey, Bruce Leroy."
Yeah.
There's no getting around it. That cat is still a good-looking guy. Vanity has passed away. But she
No, I
was
did not know that. You're right.
she was a preacher. She became
Yeah.
a preacher. I mean, after hanging out with Prince and going through all the hell that she went through in her life, I mean, she
Hmm.
went and became a preacher, and then what? Last year, was it last year?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
Yeah,
couldn't
not too
remember.
long ago, I don't think that she passed away. Um, it's very odd to see all the people that passed away in that movie. Shonuff did.
Damn.
The little brother, the guy who played the little brother,
Hmm.
died. But I think.
The little brother. I've got to talk about the little brother.
Okay, before we wrap it up, all right.
Little brother had moves. Little brother knew everything that was going on, and
Yeah,
Vanity was his girl.
yeah. That
And
was
nobody was going to get in the way, and not his dumb brother.
not even his big brother.
And
That's what's funny, because that little brother just thought he was the shit.
that led to a really funny scene with Leroy and Vanity in the car together.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
asking for a friend of mine. I don't have a paintbrush. What?
She's like, what?
I don't know how to paint or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to paint.
You know, moves. Show me moves.
He's like, well, what was it? I don't know how to. Well, he was trying to make something. I don't know how to make love, or
Yeah,
he
that was
didn't say
it.
make love, but whatever it is was like a really bad.
It was a bad analogy that his
A
brother
very
had
bad
told.
analogy that Vanity, while she's driving, is looking at him like just smiling, like she knows exactly
He
what he's
knew.
hitting at, but she's not letting him off the hook. She
Yeah.
keeps asking, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And his face just goes red, and he just looks away like la 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 la.
Yeah.
The scene that I liked was with the little brother, whenever Vanity's in the theater or the studio by herself after Bruce Leroy runs out because he's figured out how to go see the master that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
He runs out, she's sitting there, and the little brother comes in upstairs, and he's yelling down at her, and he's trying to be all bad. He's you're my woman, this and that, and she'd say, get down here before you hurt yourself. And he starts talking back. She says, now. And he just turns instantly to a little kid and comes down there.
Right.
Like he ain't as bad as he wants to be. And she just like talks to him like a little kid. And he's just, man. I think at that point he realizes it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, if you like silly movies, if you like fun action, you could do a lot worse than The Last Dragon. You could do a lot worse, and it's called The Devil's Express. Which
Or
we
Eat My
reviewed.
Dust. Or
So if I had the choice between the two, I would definitely pick The Last Dragon.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
My takeaway, love it. 80s movie, lots of fun.
Yeah.
The music, even DeBarge.
Yeah. DeBarge has a great voice. I just like.
Yeah.
Just really, the clothes and the hair and the.
This to me is, you want to know what an 80s movie looks like? Watch The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
You don't get much more 80s than this.
No, not with the clothes, the hairdo, the styles,
Everything.
everything. The speech.
It's,
They nailed it. They did a good job. The writer, I'm gonna have to look up on IMDb. I should have seen who the writer was, but I did not.
right.
But they did a good job on it. They did a really good job.
Yeah, definitely a must watch from me.
So yeah, what is our movie? What is our movie next week? You and I were talking about it. Is that Devil Girl? Oh, Mars.
Devil Girl from Mars. Yes.
The Devil Girls from Mars.
Yeah.
Which is going to be exciting because I think that's going to lead us into our Halloween month.
Yes, for the month of October, our plan is every week will be another wonderful or horrible horror movie.
Wonderfully horrible.
Yeah, so we have Devil Girls from Mars will be up first. And some other surprises coming your way for what we have chosen. So
Hope you like them or dislike them as much as we do, because we like to watch the bad movies so you don't have to.
And
That's
if
our
you
slogan now.
repeat it for those in the back who weren't paying attention.
Yeah, for the kids in the back.
What was that?
For the kids in the back, I said we like to watch the bad movies, so you don't have to.
Very good. I love it. I love it. If you want to drop us a line and have any comments, questions, movie recommendations, you can reach us at oamoviereviews@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube as OAMR, Old Ass Movie Reviews. We're also on Facebook, OAMR, Instagram, IGTV, Apple iTunes Podcast. What the heck are we else on? Deezer, Tune In. Those are the ones
you really
where
got us out there, man. See, Scott's the tech guy. He just goes off and does stuff, and I'm like, I answer a phone. I watch a movie, I answer a phone, I talk to Scott, and then we hang up, and then Scott tells me everything he's accomplished for the last week. And I'm like, oh, really? We're really going good, aren't we, Scott?
If you want to find us, we're out there. Just look up Old Ass Movie Reviews. We're there. I think we've gained 2 listeners in France, so I'm really excited. Thanks, guys or gals.
If they are listening, I want to know, how did they find us?
I don't know, but tell your friends.
It's always amazed me that the world is so small that somebody finds us in another country, and I'm like, why?
Right? I think it's pretty awesome. If you like us, leave us a good review. It helps us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can catch the videos, or just listen to us as a podcast anyway. You can tell your friends, whatever. We do appreciate your viewership and listenership.
Absolutely. We do appreciate you guys being there, all 4 of you that are listening to us right now. And the 2 in France, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.